Trust is earned. But does that mean that distrust is the default? That's the question. We know that trust is earned. We know that you can't expect someone to trust what you have to say just because you say it. But does that mean, though, that distrust is the default? What I mean by that is, does that mean that automatically you must expect distrust? I think it's confusing, and I think it's confusing to a lot of people because of what has happened to people in the past. There's so many of us, especially women, that have been betrayed by men. They trusted men, and they've been betrayed. Now, I do have to say this. No one can be betrayed unless they decide to do something that puts them in that position. That's not putting the blame on women, like some people would say it, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is everybody blaming women for, not finding the right man and all this other type of stuff? It's not that. It's just when you look at the part you play, you actually empower yourself. Now, there's just a lot of people that can't figure it out. They don't know how to work on themselves. They don't know how to get past the pain. They could be stuck in a grieving stage. They could be stuck in a bunch of different things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it has to do with things that were overlooked in the beginning that some of those men decide they don't want to overlook anymore. And sometimes some men feel like there's no communicating it. It's not going to make a difference. So they just go and just do whatever they want to do. And they don't care about their feelings of the woman that they're with, because sometimes they feel like the woman doesn't care about their feelings. And this is vice versa. It's not every situation, but it could be somebody's situation. What I'm saying is you just have to make sure that you're looking at yourself, not so that you can, say that they didn't do anything wrong, because they did, but at the same time so that you can see what you may have done wrong too. Because I'm telling you, it's empowering to see what you have done wrong. And then to get on top of that, to see what you need to work on. It takes the attention away from what someone has done to you and puts the attention back on you, saying, I have the power to change this. I have the power to do something about it. It's not hopeless. It may have just been, maybe I was ignoring the signs. But that doesn't mean that I have to become hypersensitive to things that may not even be there. Because I'm still operating from a pain center if I do that. I'm still operating from I'm not healed yet from my past if I do that. Yes, trust must be earned, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you just automatically distrust everything that somebody's saying. I was recently talking to a woman, and we were getting to know each other. And when I showed her, the flyer that I have on my page about the IT business that I'm getting involved in, she said, well, anybody can make that up. Well, that's true. Anybody could just pick something out and make something up. That's true. And plaster their picture on it. That is true. But what did I do to lead to this level of distrust? What did I do? Obviously, there was some level of trust because the person was talking to me, came to visit me, from quite a distance, and was in my company. So there must have been something that I let her know that I could have been trusted by. But at the same time, when I expressed what I was doing with my life, She chose to express, well, anybody could do that. Anybody could just put that together. And that was a level of distrust that I did nothing to incite. So the thing is, and I'm not blaming anybody or anything like this. Like, I understand people have gone through pain. People have gone through hardship. People have gone through great betrayals and stuff like that. But it does not justify putting that betrayal onto somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter what anybody been through. Another person that ain't never showed you no reason to distrust them don't deserve for you to try to throw that off on them. It doesn't matter. I mean, trust being earned does not mean that you automatically distrust everything that they're saying. And the crazy thing about it is they don't even go to the point where they say, okay, so show me the proof. They don't even do that. They develop an opinion based on what they believe they know. But most of the people that I talk to about it really don't know anything about a business consultant position in an IT position, company. So, you know, once again, there's nothing you could do about it, but I thought it was a point to talk about because it made me think about this trust being earned thing. It doesn't mean that you automatically distrust. You know what I mean? You have to have an in-between point. A point where you say, benefit of the doubt. You see what I'm saying? The point where you say, I am not going to go straight to a distrust place if they haven't given me any reason to distrust them. Or I'm not going to just be looking for reasons to distrust them. Because how can trust be earned if I'm constantly looking for a reason to distrust? It can't be. It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? If a person does everything in their, like everything that shows that they can be trusted will be ignored. Period. Everything that shows they can be trusted will be ignored. It's crazy because a woman said to me, she said, wow, this is so uncomfortable and so weird. I'm not used to men trying to get to know me, asking me questions about myself, really interested in my career and what I'm doing and stuff like that. It's weird. So based upon what other men have done, something healthy is weird. And I think that a lot of men are dealing with this today, you know what I'm saying? Because women don't trust a good man. Because they've had so much experiences with men that are not good. And then if you have a past where you came from not being a good man and you changed your life around, as soon as they hear where you came from, no, you can't be real. So it's just something to think about, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order for us to find what we want, we have to be open to it. Because there are people that have gone through the mud, gone through the fire, and healed themselves, have come out on the other side and made something of themselves and done something to restore their sanity, to restore their humanity, to restore their integrity, to restore their respect and love that they have for themselves. Because the only reason why we were pieces of shit is because we didn't love and respect ourselves. And so we found a way to do that, and then we are honest about it, and we tell where we came from in the past, and then they use that against us. They use that against us. So the good things are constantly overlooked. You can do a whole bunch of good things for a person all your life, and they see one bad thing, and they will turn around and say, you have done nothing good for me. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can have a story where you lost everything, where you went through terrible tragedies and terrible betrayals, and people will hear that story and then ignore the whole thing because there's some trauma that you're facing and it caused you to overreact to something that they did, and they're hurt by it. And they'll ignore the fact that, well, this person probably should get the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't mean anything terrible by it because they've been through something terrible. And maybe I should understand that they're not like, this is not that. This is not what I've been through. It really makes you think, like, do people really give a damn about anybody but themselves? It really makes you think. Trust should be earned, yet the default is not distrust. There has to be some real substantial reason to distrust a person, not based on the entirety of a sex. Okay, so most men have done this to me, so therefore that's the reason to distrust this man. No, that's not true. Same thing for women. Okay, so most women I've run into are doing this, so this is the reason to distrust this woman. No, that's not true. However, some trauma we went through may have caused like extreme PTSD, and so therefore you got to let a person know that. But then they got to pay attention to that. You know, they may say something like, "Well, I'm not obligated to care about that. I don't need to take on your baggage." No, you definitely don't. But it doesn't cost anything to be considerate. It doesn't cost anything to be concerned. It doesn't cost anything to give a person the benefit of the doubt. It costs nothing. You might actually find that you build something that's great, that you actually help a person heal, and in the process you heal. People are sabotaging their own healing because they're not working on it. They're not. So it's just something that I wanted to express and something that I felt like sharing. You know, maybe somebody can get something good out of this, and I hope so. And I pray that somebody did. And I appreciate y'all, you know, sharing this time with me. You know what I'm saying? Treat people good, give God his props. And be authentic. Regardless of what anybody thinks.